let's talk about Slipknot. If I get to the right page. There we go. Slipknot is an American heavy metal band formed in Des Moines, Iowa, where the anger comes from. In 1995 by percussionist Sean Crahan, former vocalist Anders Kolsfini, and bassist Paul Gray. After several lineup changes in its early years, the band settled on 9 members for more than a decade, about as many people as in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Mark, if I remember correctly, you were a member of Slipknot playing the IV at one point, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I was I was playing the pump bag for when I had cancer.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'll wait and bleed. Woo! Sir, stop waving your cancer around.
Oh my gosh.
Sir, your colostomy bag is showing.
Oh my. I pull my skirt over it. All right. The Crahan, Gray, Joey Jordanson, Craig Jones, Mick Thompson, Corey Taylor, Sid Wilson, Chris Fain, and Jim Root. Slipknot is well known for its attention-grabbing image, aggressive style of music, and energetic and chaotic live shows. I saw Slipknot a few years ago when I was with Melissa, and it was a rare thing because normally, like, my aggressiveness or energy for a show shows itself in the mosh pit. There was no mosh pit to be had where I was. I was in seats at the time, who knows what it was actually called, but today it's the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater, and we were, like I said, we were in seats, plastic seats, and like I almost damn near like ripped the fucking seat up in front of me. I was like, ah! Like, Slipknot is my shit. I love it. It gets into my veins, but no one came here to hear me talk about it. Mick, this is your baby. Take it away.
Yes, it is. So Slipknot is a band one of those that I've been listening to since I was very, very little. I've already introduced that I've been raised on metal my whole life, and this was just one of them. But I think it definitely has its place in bands that go down from history, not only because of their look and whatnot, but also the impact that they made with what they do. They created this giant following where they only thought that they were going to last in Iowa. If that, they thought about breaking up several times before they have what they have now.
Are you talking about before 1999 or even since their debut album was such a big hit?
I think because their debut album was such a big hit, that's what drove them, and it made people want more, because they've said in interviews that they had no idea that it was going to get that big. And they had people donating their own masks that people have made and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Which I also learned the reason why they wear masks and the jumpsuit with the numbers is because it wasn't about them. It was about creating this thing that it was just another sheep in the flock kind of idea.
I think the anonymity, as part of their stage presentation, is actually a really good idea. I'll throw this out for discussion. In my opinion, I think Slipknot's earned its legacy. It's earned its place in music by being particularly unique. I understand they're not the only band with 87 guys in it. I understand they're not the only band that's being pushed by percussionists. I do remember there is a band called Mushroomhead. However, Slipknot has the most notoriety of that type, and I think their music is distinct even among metal circles. Listening back to that 1999 album, I mean, it is relentless. We listen to a lot of metal on here, and we talk about album creation in terms of like your first track, your middle track, your last track. Do you take breaks? How much rhythm is there from song to song? And this one, as I listened to it a couple times over the last week or so, it doesn't stop. And the thing is that, okay, well, neither does death metal, but death metal can be a little samey. The songs are really, really distinct. Like, I knew we were going from one song to the next, and I could pick out each song individually. I can't say that about a lot of albums that like Slayer albums don't stop either. But half of a Slayer album sounds kind of the same, as much as I love that band. So what do you think, Jesse? What's your opinion on Slipknot or anything Mick and I have said so far?
Yeah, well, as far as the album goes, so I have a confession to make.
You also listen to only black metal first?
I listened to this album all the way through for the first time about an hour ago.
Really?
So yeah, I am not I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but let's just say that I have not brought Slipknot into my life. I'd
Now you
say
got me
the
curious how much Slipknot we've covered on here.
well, we did half 0.5, the Great Chapter or whatever it was. I think that
Yeah.
was one of the albums. I don't know if we've done any other than that one that I was part of anyway. So, and I remember the album when that released, we listened to it, liked it. I don't think we had much to say as far as like criticism wise. I think we all
I'm
came
sure
away
I
with it.
bitched it wasn't as heavy as the first one.
Sure.
Or Iowa, for that matter.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's a common statement, though. A lot of people say I mean, you could say this about a lot of bands, but they'd be like, it's not as heavy as their first one. And then they finally did an album that was as heavy as their first one, which is one of their more recent ones, and everyone didn't like it.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
So I can tell you we've done We Are Not Your Kind. We've done The End So Far, which I actually think that was the very first Metal Hammer of Jukebox that we did.
I think so.
And then we did the Slipknot 5, The Great Chapter.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, it wasn't until, get this, Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah, baby.
Where what's the song that's featured on there? I don't think it's Wait and Bleed. Thank you very much. Yes, that's it. And no,
it was I'm sorry, before I forget.
Oh, before I forget.
Yep.
Maybe there's okay. We have to take a look at the soundtrack because to make sure. I think you're right though. Anyway, as with a lot of metal songs, we began to get a better. That was one thing that game did, was it introduced me to a few more bands that I didn't know about, and had a lot of fun playing the songs. And I knew Slipknot had been around for a long time. It's not like I was completely oblivious to their existence, but I didn't start really listening to some of their stuff until we started talking here on the show, and also playing some Guitar Hero 3. So yeah, I have my wife's cousin, tattoo artist, great guy. He's the one guy that I know that loved Slipknot. So it's like I was always wanting to kind of like, oh man, I'd love to listen to that band because he had a great appreciation of some bands that I really like. I just never got around to it. So yes, prior to this, I wanted to do the homework for sure. I knew we were going to talk about this album, and I listened to it all the way through. And just like Mark said, it is relentless. It is pedal to the metal. And there's a lot of variation. That's the other thing that Mark had said. Yes, it does get samey sometimes when you're listening to other bands when they try to do this. You want to make it enjoyable for the listener. And I would also say that these guys wanted to make a statement with this album. They wanted to come out and just be balls to the wall. And I love the fact that you brought that up, Mick, about how they kind of wanted to be. It's anonymity. It's about the music. It's about what is being put out there more than it is the individual. So I don't know if I knew who Corey Taylor was probably until, a while. I think really the first time it wasn't Corey Taylor the one that said Chad Kroeger looked like a big toe or something.
I think it was.
Okay. I think that's the first time I was like, who's this Corey Taylor guy? And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so there's my history.
I think the first Slipknot song I came across, maybe because it was a video or, I heard it somewhere, but it instantly made me fall in love with the band. Though there are better, there are heavier, there are angrier songs. This one, there's something about it. And it's one of those where there's a part of me that's just like, oh, of course you like that one, you poser. But I can't help it. It's so good. It's Wait and Bleed. Like I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that video tonight, but it's like live footage, so I'm not doing another concert video. But
right.
Wait and Bleed, for it's a tricky thing to try to get your heavy metal band to produce a single that is crowd pleasing, something that will attract a general audience. Wait and Bleed is that perfect combination of heavy, clean vocals, screamy vocals. It has this, that signature Slipknot gallop. I said it before. One of the things to me that sticks out about Slipknot is the use of percussion.
It's because they have 8 of them.
Yeah. Well, I brought up Candiria on the last show when we talked about clowncore, and I was like, you can tell when the drummer is sort of pushing the music. Slipknot creates a very layered sound. There's a lot going on. It's very busy music, but it's busy in a very structured way. It's kind of like if you could take the sound of a New York City intersection, like right there at Penn Station and Broadway, and convert it and use Suno.ai to convert it to music. That's what Slipknot would sound like. Just a very organized busyness. And I love it for that. There's a mathematical quality to it that draws me in. Cooper, you ate everything popular and good. What do you think about Slipknot?
So funny story. Yeah, no, the entire time I'm sitting here, like I have mixed feelings on Slipknot because I like some of their stuff, but also some of their fans are the most basic ass bitches I've ever met. No offense to any basic ass bitches listening. Like when
you want me to go get my candle now?
you should. Go check to make sure your car's not on fire.
Basic bitch thing.
It's not lit. Remember, I don't have any matches or a lighter or anything.
The Florida heat's gonna go ahead and ignite it. Boom.
Like, let me go get my candle and mash it into my computer screen.
Well, like I actually did get to see them live. I saw them with Killswitch Engage, which I was there for Killswitch Engage. Slipknot did put on a fantastic show. They played a lot from the first album, which I was impressed by. I was actually surprised, to be honest. It's one of those things, I really do like their music. I think it's just one of those, over the years, I've had to separate, I guess, how I feel about some of the fans. Just because, like, I know their fan base has been deemed a gang by certain members of the government.
I've been waiting to talk. Excuse me. I've been waiting to talk about that. I have a book. It's an anthology book. It's a nonfiction anthology, and it takes different bands and their associations with the government. And there's a chapter on Slipknot where they interviewed one of the guys. They're like, "We're well aware the FBI has a file on us. Why wouldn't they? Have you seen our following?" And I was like, "That's a solid point."
Yeah. It's just one of those bands that I think I have come to appreciate. The more I've, I guess, become more accepting of, I guess, what 22-year-old, 23-year-old me was like, that's metal. Because a lot of times, I will say, especially in dating, when you see a gal that's like, I love metal, you kind of wait to see what band they talk about first. Because, Slipknot's great. They are, but a lot of times that's where a lot of people start and that's where they end, and it can be a little frustrating at times just because I feel like there's so much more. But at the same time, they do have a really good layered sound, and what's funny is listening to this first album for the first time, and really since high school. I remember when I was in high school, Mark. That was when you were like 30.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah. It actually surprised me a lot because I forgot just how much into the nu metal sound they really were, because as you start listening to their later albums, they do get, I'd say, more, a little more traditional in a way. Like, there are no guitar solos on this first album. As you start getting through their later stuff, like Volume 3 and Volume 4, you do start getting more of the guitars being highlighted, which their guitarists are fucking fantastic, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give them that. But it's funny, as I started out in my head being like, man, fuck Slipknot, and now I'm just gushing about them because it's one of those, I really do like it. I just think the fan base gets on my nerves, which is fine. Remember what happened the one time we called Bandmade baby metal?
So Mick, there was a guy who's Jesse still does this podcast. I am no longer friends with him, but he had.
Oh God, you still do them, Jesse?
Oh yeah, every once in a while I hop on over there and hang out with the Bleeding Edge.
Is
The
one of
bleeding ass.
one of 900 people on the Bleeding Edge show. He gets to talk for 2 minutes, but he sits for 3 hours. But Mick, you think you don't get enough time to talk? So anyway, he had gained a fair bit of notoriety on his channel for doing Bandmade video reactions, and I'm not afraid to steal from other people. So we should talk about Bandmade on the Metal Hammer of Doom, and we did. And I was comparing them to Baby Metal as would be the natural reaction, the natural comparison, and the Bandmade fans came out with pitchforks. And not since I had made fun of the accents of Baby Metal had I angered a lot of people.
I thought that was Teasley that was making fun of Baby Metal.
No, that would be me.
Oh God!
Jesse and I did a Metal Hammer of Doom extra on a live performance of Baby Metal and Judas Priest, and I was like, "Oh, aren't they adorable? They don't know how to pronounce words." And I was like, "Oh, why do you?"
I had to turn the comments off.
Ooh, the neck beards came out in full force.
Yes, he was like, "They're gonna find my house."
They've already found it. It's one of those. I'm waiting for like a man in a Slipknot shirt to show up in the next 2 hours.
Gonna be wearing a mask for sure.
The maggots. I just thought the maggots are dollar store juggalos. I'll take it.
Before we discuss the album itself and play the video, I do want to talk about the legacy of this band, and feel free to weigh in here, Mick, with your thoughts. But their list of accolades is fucking huge. They have 48 wins across multiple award-giving institutions, not the least of which was the Grammys. And they have 78 nominations, which I think is more than Metallica. I want to just talk about the Grammy stuff here. They won for Before I Forget Best Metal Performance in 2006. Nominated for Best Metal Performance was Wait and Bleed, Left Behind, and My Plague in 2001, 2, and 3. For Best Hard Rock Performance, Duality was nominated in 2005. Best Metal Performance 2005, 2006, 2009, 2015, and 2016 were Vermilion, the aforementioned Before I Forget, which they won, Psychosocial, The Negative One, and Custer. Best Rock Album was 0.5, The Gray Chapter. And in 2024, Hive Mind was nominated for Best Metal Performance. They've been nominated for Emma Gala, Fuse Awards. They've won a Fuse Award. They've been both nominated and won Heavy Metal Music Awards. They've been nominated and won Hungarian Music Awards, Kerrang. They've a shit ton of Kerrang. Metal Edge Reader's Choice Awards, Metal Hammer Golden God Awards. They were nominated in 2008 for a Rock Out Award for the MTV Europe Awards. In America, Psychosocial was nominated for Best Rock Video. They got a bunch of wins and nominations for Enemy. And yeah, the list goes on and on. So I don't think there's any debate about Slipknot's presence in terms of one of the best metal acts of the last 20 years. I'm going to throw it back to you, Mick, before we get into the first video and the only video, and then we talk about the album.
I mean, I agree, because they have the receipts to show for it with how many awards that they've gotten over time, and it being a worldwide name at this point, even if the fans may look scary or weird, or I don't remember what you said, Coop.
What, Dinosaur Juggalos?
Yeah.
Looks like he called them douche canoes or some shit.
I mean, yeah, kinda. At me. That's right. I don't have a social media presence. Kiss my black ass.
The self-titled were, I can't tell. Okay, yeah, it's 2 times platinum. It's multi-time platinum at a bunch of different areas. Iowa is multi-times platinum.
I really love Iowa.
Volume 3 is multi-times platinum. All Hope is Gone. It's platinum. Yeah, a couple places platinum and gold. The Gray Chapter is all gold, and when one area is platinum. We Are Not Your Kind is gold, and The End So Far, which came out 2 years ago, did not go gold or platinum. But nobody buys music anymore, so it doesn't matter.
I was about to say, welcome to streaming, baby.
Yes,
where music has become a commodity that nobody pays for, thus it cannot be a career. Thanks to AI. No offense, Jesse.
Wait and Bleed was number 1 in the UK rock charts. Spit It Out. Patooey. Number 1 in the UK rock charts.
Mark Radlich, Hawk Tuah girl.
I am the Hawk 2 man. Duality was number 1 in the UK rock chart. Let's see if they had any other number 1s. A couple of number 2s across the board here. The Negative One was number 1.
It's a song about Robert Winfrey.
Stop. Leave my poor friend alone. He struggles so much. All right.
I love Robert. I'm sure he would laugh. I would hope he would laugh at that one.
To you, yes, and then he'd cry off camera. All right. Speaking of crying off camera, anything else, Mick, before we move on?
I think we covered it. I mean, back to the show ones. I mean, I've seen Slipknot 4 times, and they definitely know how to put on a show.
Yeah, they do. I've only been blessed to see them once, but it was a hell of a show. Definitely one of my happier memories of that particular relationship. So
to find out she actually really hated that, and I felt really bad in retrospect. Yeah, because she doesn't. It's one of those that was really distracting. Like she's not one of those. Like my ADHD makes it to where I once had I had a movie, a basketball game, and my phone going on at the same time, and I'm content. She was just like, this is too much. This is overstimulating. It's driving me insane.
Overwhelming.
Alrighty then.
Try not to come.
Slipknot, Who's Trying Not to Come, is the debut studio album by Slipknot. It was released on June 29th in 1999 by Roadrunner, right, Jesse?
Right.
Records, following a demo containing a few of the songs which had previously been released in 1998. Later, it was reissued in December of 99 with a slightly altered track listing and mastering as a result of a lawsuit. It was the first release by the band to be produced by Ross Robinson, who sought to refine Slipknot's sound rather than alter the group's musical direction. This is the only album to feature original guitarist Josh Brannard, who left at the end of the recording in 1998 while the band was taking a brief break. Jim Root, who recorded 2 tracks at this point, would appear full-time on subsequent albums, starting with their next album, Iowa, which is probably, as much as I love this album, Iowa is probably my favorite Slipknot album of all time. The tracks are a variety of numbers, then Sick.
A variety of numbers. That is not the name. Come on, read it. Read it off.
1-0-0-0-1-1. 1-0-1-0-1.
There you go.
Periodic table with a piece of
And
mind.
a piece of mind.
Was that in binary?
1-0-0-0-1-1. 1-0-1-0-1.
He's singing his shirt.
No, that's not my shirt. This is
your shirt is a Clutch shirt, correct?
It is a Clutch shirt. Yes. No. This is Decapitation Blues.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Anyway, that's a Clutch song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normie.
Okay. Fucking half the world hasn't heard of Clutch, but that's fine. Sure.
I can't drive manual, so I won't need to.
All right. Here we go. Ready? 7-4-2-6-1-7-0-0-0-0-2. 7.
What? Okay, first, can we stop, Mick? Can you explain why this? Why are we opening this up with a set of numbers? Is there any explanation as to why that is?
We're in church.
I haven't found any. We can do a quick search, but I have no idea why.
I just didn't know if there was.
It's like an intro song too. It's not even a full like.
Right.
That's why I wasn't paying any attention to it. But these autistic motherfuckers have to make me talk about stuff.
And what does sick mean? Doesn't sick mean? I always thought sick meant spelling is correct, but what does it mean when it's in parentheses again? That is not correct. Okay.
The spelling is correct. You've
Nerdiest
done such a
review
good-
ever.
No, you guys.
What does
damn it.
this mean?
What is this?
Oh.
We are discussing the album. I'm trying to keep the AI happy. Okay.
Oh, okay, robot underlord.
All right. I'm quiet now, Mark. Go ahead.
Are you sure? Are you sure
Yes,
you don't have any
yes.
more?
Well, wait till we
questions?
get to track 7, and then I have questions. No, go.
Well, God damn it! This is your segment, Mick. You better have fucking answers. This one,
Fuck.
this one here will fucking waterboard you.
I'll just start making shit up.
That's
Okay,
fine.
that's
You won't
great.
know.
And I'll believe
I
it
will have
because I'm
no
gullible.
Alrighty. Anyway, sick, eyeless, wait and bleed, surfacing, spit, patoo, it out. Tattered and torn, frail limb nursery, purity, liberate, prosthetics, no life, diluted, only one, and scissors. And that is that.
And
So-
don't forget the hidden track, Eeyore.
Nope.
Ooh.
You had to sit and listen to 17 minutes of silence on the fucking CD to get to it.
I have Spotify, sir. I don't do that anymore.
I was mowing my grandmother's lawn at the age of 17.
Look,
I had
no
to
one
sit
wants
there
hear
in
what you're doing to
silence.
no one wants to hear what you're doing to your grandmother's lawn, you sick pervert.
Well, now she's dead, so it doesn't matter.
And stop imprinting on my son.
That was only one time.
It's because it's the only time he's been on a podcast with you, you perv.
That's true. I think I would be best friends with this 10-year-old child. That's a great thing for a grown man to
He might be
say.
too grouchy for you now. He's. Sorry, I'm still laughing at I'm you, but bad stuff hasn't happened to me yet.
Who are you kidding? He might just bring the inner grouch out in me.
Slipknot received acclaim by critics. Following its release, the band gained popularity beyond their own expectations. Reviewing for AllMusic, Rick Anderson called it an auspicious debut and proclaimed, "You thought Limp Bizkit was hard. They're the Osmonds. These guys are something else entirely, and it's pretty impressive. The album's aggression and heavy sound was widely praised. Rolling Stone, used to be a magazine, stated Slipknot is metal with a capital M, der heap, and then that they were the first death metal jam band. That's funny.
Death metal jam band.
Death metal jam band. Kerrang called the album raw and wholly uncompromising. Each track delivered a powerful blow to the senses. And in 2001, Q included the album in their list of 50 heaviest albums of all time. I agree with all of that. All right, Mick, what do you want to tell us about this album?
It's actually my favorite album, but
It's all downhill after
Like
this, huh?
favorite Slipknot album or favorite like overall ever or something?
Oh, it's my favorite Slipknot album. So I was
Okay, gotcha.
looking through, and when I listened through the whole thing again in preparation for this podcast, just to remember what songs were on it, I was like, these are all my favorite things that Slipknot has ever released. So that says that. And then I don't know. I feel like they didn't have a lot of money to put into this, and they did a great job of creating something that everyone will remember. My favorite songs are basically if you threw a band down a flight of stairs, that noise is my favorite noise.
Oh my god, you should listen to Phil Ensemble and the Illegals. Which we
and the appliances.
and the appliances, yes. We described Phil Ensemble and the Illegals as a
I pop back into that.
as a trash can full of pots and pans rolling down a hill. That might be my favorite description ever of any music.
If you threw a band down the flight of stairs.
Making mediocre music as a virtue.
My other favorite description of Phil Ensemble and the Illegals was it was recorded in the kitchen. It was recorded in the kitchen while Phil Ensemble was cooking bacon naked. Anyway, back to Slipknot.
God, that was not a good album. Neither of those albums were good.
No, they weren't.
But man, they were good fodder.
So I love Sick. I love Surfacing. Spit It Out. Wait and Bleed. I could listen to Wait and Bleed on repeat. I love the shit out of that song. Like
lot
I
of people
know
do.
it's like the buzz clip of this album, but
Right, dude.
sometimes there's a reason why something's popular, and I've kind